The beginning of the journey, when I first started learning English, it felt like I had been dropped into the middle of a storm without a map. I remember sitting in a classroom, staring blankly at the blackboard, as the teacher scribbled words I couldn't pronounce, let alone understand. My classmates seemed to catch on faster than I did. While they answered confidently, I shrunk into my chair, hoping no one would call on me. I wasn't a bad student. In fact, I was curious and motivated. But English was different. It didn't just require understanding rules and grammar, it demanded confidence, rhythm, and fluency. And I didn't have any of those. Every time I tried to speak, my voice would shake. I would freeze in the middle of a sentence, my brain scrambling for the right word, only to find nothing. The worst moment came during a school presentation. I had practiced my part in front of the mirror for hours, but when it was my turn to speak, all I managed was a trembling hello, followed by a long, painful silence. I wanted the ground to swallow me. After that day, I avoided English as much as I could. I answered in short phrases. I didn't volunteer in class. I watched English shows with subtitles in my native language and told myself it was just for fun. But deep down, I knew I was hiding from the discomfort, from the fear of sounding stupid, from the shame of not being good enough. But everything changed during one summer holiday. My cousin, who lived abroad and spoke fluent English, came to visit. He was my age but spoke with such ease and confidence that it shocked me. He cracked jokes in English, understood fast conversations in American TV shows, and even helped strangers navigate the city. I was in awe. One evening, as we sat on the rooftop watching the stars, I asked him how he became so fluent. He looked at me and said, honestly, habits. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's what I did every day. That sentence stayed with me. That night, I made a decision. I didn't want to keep running away. I wanted to speak English, not just pass exams, not just memorize words. I wanted to feel comfortable in the language. I wanted fluency. And so began my journey. Habit number 1. Daily listening practice. The first habit I built was simple but powerful. Listening. I started with music. I had always loved pop songs, but I never really paid attention to the lyrics. Now, I listen carefully. I picked a new song every day, found the lyrics online, and read along while listening. At first, it was hard to follow. Native singers speak fast and use slang, but I kept at it. I listened to the same song again and again until I could understand every word without looking at the lyrics. Then I moved on to TV shows. I chose sitcoms like Friends and How I Met Your Mother, shows with everyday conversations, humor, and common expressions. I watched with English subtitles at first, then without. I paused scenes, rewound them, tried to imitate how the characters spoke. I didn't understand everything, but I understood more and more each day. Podcasts became another favorite. I found one called The English We Speak by the BBC. It introduced new phrases in short, easy to understand episodes. I would listen while walking, cleaning, or even before bed. At first, I just let the language wash over me. I didn't force myself to understand every detail. I let my brain get used to the rhythm, the sounds, the melody of English. Over time, my ears became sharper. I began to recognize patterns. I could tell where one word ended and the next began. But more importantly, I began to feel the language. Listening taught me how real English sounded, not textbook English, but real, living, breathing English. And slowly, something magical started to happen. I began thinking in English. At first, it was just small thoughts. I'm hungry. That's funny. I should do my homework. But as I listened more, the voice in my head stopped translating from my native language. It spoke directly in English. That's when I knew I was changing. This habit didn't require me to speak. It didn't require me to write or study grammar. It just required time, patience, and consistency. I set a simple rule: 30 minutes of English listening every single day. And I kept that promise. Some days, I listened more. Some days, I only managed a short episode or half a song. But I never broke the habit. Not once. It wasn't glamorous. It didn't give instant results. But like water shaping stone, it changed me. The power of exposure. I began to realize that learning English wasn't about memorizing rules. It was about exposure. The more I surrounded myself with the language, the more natural it became. I started changing small things around me. My phone's language settings, English. My social media feeds followed English-speaking accounts. My YouTube suggestions filled with English vloggers, interviews, and documentaries. My journal entries, sometimes in English, even if they were messy. The more I exposed myself to the language, the more comfortable I became. I remember one morning when I was brushing my teeth and humming a song I had listened to the day before. The lyrics flowed out without effort. It felt good. It felt mine. That was the moment I understood. Fluency isn't a destination. It's a feeling, a comfort, a flow. Progress, not perfection, of course. I still made mistakes. I misheard lyrics, misunderstood jokes, mispronounced words in my head. But I stopped judging myself. The goal wasn't perfection. The goal was progress. And that made all the difference. I became proud of my small wins, understanding a fast line in a movie, laughing at a joke in a podcast, singing along to a song without checking the lyrics. Each of these tiny moments gave me confidence. I was no longer just learning English. I was living in it.